follow-up on automotive with thrilling focus with Jean Cabanes. Jean is Managing Director, Europe, Africa, and Latin America for Automotive, Industrial Infrastructure, Travel for Accenture. Thank you so much to join us on stage. Jean, we're actually going to talk about more on automotive with you and the fact that, again, as Vincent was pitching a few minutes ago, car can be considered as an API. Car is a device, car is a platform, car is multiple things at the same time right now. First, given those challenges, and maybe you will need this clicker a little bit later, but given these challenges, what tangible value can digital bring to the automotive industry? Because that's definitely the core question here.
Can you hear me? Yes. We presented last month at the Frankfurt Fair a study around the value that digital is bringing to automotive, and clearly taking a fictive 50 billion euro car manufacturer, 5 billion euro EBIT, and we analyze level by level where digital is going to create incremental value. And in a nutshell, the outcome of the study shows that in 2020, 80% of the incremental value coming from digital will come from, and let me show you a small, oh, you have it there, great, will come from improving through digital internal processes, whether it's existing let's say, value chain, both on the client side and on the value chain side. So out of the 1.8 billion euro incremental value, incremental EBIT, sorry, 80% will come from optimizing internal value chain, 50% will come from the digitizing the customer experience, and 50% will come from other processes, and just 20% will come from new business model that you see in the middle. So I'm sure that we are going to talk a lot about new business model, but pragmatically, I think the pockets of improvement and the pockets of value for automotive manufacturers in the next 5 years will come from improving the way they work on their existing processes. And clearly being able to do that will also be important for them to be able to jump into new business model and to leverage digital to grow their business with these new business models.
So let's focus actually on the 3 key areas to bring high value.
Yes.
First, I heard you talk about customer experience. Yes. Again, product, services, experience, it's all part of the same circle right now. What can we digitize in customer experience?
Okay. First thing to have in mind, and I think everybody knows the order of magnitude, 80% of people buying a car are starting their research on internet. And today, this percentage is going to continue to grow, but digital channels are becoming the primary areas for research and where people are looking for information. If we look at where the incremental value will come from, I would take four main areas. The first one is leveraging, let's say, analytics and advanced CRM to be able to present the right offers at the right time in a more personalized way. Second important lever to generate this value is proper lead management. We worked with a big OEM in Europe that asked us a simple question. When a client enters into my physical dealership, what's the... let me rephrase it differently. The outcome of the study we made with them was showing that in 70% of the cases, when a client is entering into a dealership and has a very clear idea of the car he wants to buy, In 70% of the cases, the salesperson in front of it doesn't have a clue of the car he wants to buy. So there's a huge disconnect between information captured in the digital channel and the way it can be leveraged by the physical channels. And there's a lot of value and a lot of improvement to make there to enable, let's say, distributors, car distributors, to be much more effective than the way they are today. So that's a big area for improvement.
So the first digitization is SEO?
Yes.
Just improving your SEO online?
Yes, yes, exactly. It's
Go back to the
improving
basics.
the way you leverage the data that people are generating when they configure a car, when they look for information on the digital channels.
So back to the basics first.
In the same mindset, digital showrooms are also a good way for physical dealers to be able to improve the customer experience. In a digital showroom, you can show the whole product range, which is impossible today in a physical location. Last element, online sales. We believe by 2020 it will represent still a small portion of the incremental value. So that's not the major area for improvement related to digital customer, but that's something that is going to grow. And as somebody was explaining before, Tesla is a good example of direct online sales.
And of course, digital transformation does impact on the process of the enterprises and firms.
Yes.
So how do you digitize operations, again, to make more effective this brand new automotive industry when it comes to cars, platforms, APIs, and so on?
And to remind the order of magnitude, out of the 1.8 billion coming from incremental EBIT, 80% is internal, 50% on the digital customer experience side, the rest on digitized operation. Though there's a huge potential to improve their operation, and the two main areas are manufacturing and supply chain. That's where digital is going to enable and must enable OEMs to improve themselves, because they are facing a big challenge at the moment. Their clients are expecting more flexibility, more reactivity. They are also looking for much more customization, personalization. So manufacturers at the same time need both to be more flexible and needs to be able to manage a much wider diversity in their products. And therefore, both in the manufacturing side and in the supply chain sides, they need to leverage digital. Just to give you a few examples that exist today and that will be more and more used in the future. If I take intelligent wearables, for quality control, augmented reality, Volkswagen is widely using that in their factories, not only in Europe, but also in China. Also using augmented reality for complex repair operation in their repair shops. We start to see in the manufacturing areas cobots to replace people for repetitive but evolving tasks, because the interest of cobots is that a classical numeric machine can cost 1 to many millions. A new generation of cobots costs 30, 40,000 euros and could be very quickly and easily implemented. So that's some of the new features that OEMs are starting to implement to decrease their cost while improving their level of flexibility.
Robotization again.
Yes.
So there is this very last but crucial, actually, fact, digitizing your business models. Vincent actually just told us and reminded us the core and the non-core part of those business models. And we can, of course, think about a lot of examples in the IoT business with in-assurance companies, where you have the in-assurance spots trying to, bridge the gap between the device itself, the services, and the insurance part of it. We can think about a lot of things like Orange partnering with AXA, for instance, or the brands together.
So
What does, when you come back to the automotive industry, how could you think about this phenomenon?
yeah, so core, non-core, I would represent it slightly differently, saying there's different circles. The first circle is the core, is the automotive itself, and it's as you said, moving from selling product to selling services. So it's B2C usage of the car, it's peer-to-peer. So there's a lot of examples around that. There start to be also companies that want to create mobility platforms, so encompassing not only car, but air, rail, water, and to provide door-to-door mobility services. I think Movell, a subsidiary of Daimler, is a good example that embeds different actors, Flickr, taxi. They are able to combine and to propose for an app, let's say, clever optimization, clever options to provide to people door-to-door mobility services. So that's evolving. One of the next steps could be autonomous car also, which is a new way to use car, and it's becoming a commoditized product, but you can derive services from it. I will talk a little bit later about the way Uber envisaged to use autonomous car in the evolution of his business model. That's the first circle. The second circle is leveraging what's around the car or related services around the car, so connected car and informations that could be provided from the connected car, navigation, things like that. That's a second circle. I think in that space, some car manufacturers, and here is a good example, and I will also detail that a little bit later, but idea is to provide a different, not only driver experience, but a different daily life experience, and to take the advantage of the car being a lot of time the center in terms of usage, to provide services like leisures, shopping, art around the car, and to enable people to take advantage of these new services. That's, for me, the second circle. The third circle is around data monetization. And today, everybody talks about data monetization. A car today, per hour, generates 10 gigabytes of data. I think most of it is hardly used today. So there's a lot of potential, untapped potential, and clearly that's a subject that a lot of different players are trying to work. The OEMs, of course, but a lot of new actors and new entrants, of course.
Okay, actually, let's move on, because you know that our summit this year definitely tries to tackle to the traditional players versus new disruptors. And I heard you talk about new business model with disruptors, Tesla,
Yes.
and so on. What about we just deep dive into those kind of disruptive models right now, and then
Yes.
Ambroise will have a question for you.
Exactly. Okay. So before talking about the short term, just to share with you two data points. One is cell batteries. The cost of battery cells for cars 5 years ago in 2010 was 500 to 600 euros. Today, it's down from 1 to 150 euros. Think about what it could be in 5 years. And everybody talk about electric cars and it goes slowly, but I think it could accelerate. The second thing is, I'm coming to Uber. Uber said, in 10 to 15 years, I'm going to replace my car by autonomous cars. Barclay, taking that fact, tried to analyze the impact on the automotive production globally, and it could impact automotive production by as much as 40%, so generating a 40% decrease in the volume in the automotive market against the volume today. So major impact, so a lot of changes, uncertainties. If I come back to today and the next years, you say new business model. For me, to play a little bit on words, data is the new oil of the automotive industry. I was saying a car is producing 10 gigabytes of data per hour, hardly used today. A lot of actors are working very hard on what value is there in this data and what should they do to monetize this data. We talked about here a few minutes ago. Business model, I think today, it's not much yet a business model play. It's much more a volume play. That is to say, and here is the perfect good example. Why Audi, BMW, and Daimler decided to buy here? Because they want to create a connected mobility platform, and as soon as they announced they buy the company, they also announced the fact that this platform is going to be free and open to any other OEM that wants to use it. Just to show that for them, what's important is to attract volumes, to attract users on the platform. Objective is not yet to monetize things. Objective is to become the platform of reference, because, and I'm convinced they are partially right, it's a scale play first. And if you have the scale, you'll be able to work on the business model. And perhaps a first try for Mercedes, for example, through Mercedes-Me to show what they want to do in the future is to say, okay, we want to create, leveraging our very strong and global brands, a unique user experience, not only on the car, but on the daily life experience. And Mercedes-Me is proposing to Mercedes users, as I was saying, you can go and see events, you can do shopping, you can go to restaurants. And they want to create a unique brand experience, leveraging the image they have on the car and expanding it to other type of activities.
Thriving example, but we really have to move on, actually. So, Ambroise, do you have a question to Jean so that we can, again, deep dive in those examples, disruptive business models?
Yes. So I have a quick question. It's about the, and Vincent in the introduction mentioned this, are people willing to pay for these services? Mm-hmm. And if so, would it be like paying a monthly, annual subscription? Or maybe it could be part of a car. I think on luxury cars, some of these services may be included.
Yes. I think, as you said, the second option seems to me the one that everybody seems to be willing to start with. Whether it's for luxury, if I look Fiat, which is not a luxury brand, when they launched their connected car, they decided upfront to say, everything is free for the first 3 to 6 months. You try everything, you enjoy it, and then you pay for it.
Uh-huh. Okay, makes sense. Thank you.
You might have, I can give you an extra minute just to develop one of the other disruptive business models you wanted to talk to us about, maybe?
Perhaps, instead of developing one disruptive, what I would like to say is that...
What should we bear in mind?
Yes, all the OEMs are moving towards digitization. They are moving fast. Mm-hmm. And they all have 5 key things that they are trying to achieve at pace. Of course, you need to have a clear vision of what you want to do. You need to have a clear roadmap. What they are working on very hard at the moment is to increase the traction, is to increase their ability to speed up in that space, because they are not startups, and they are aware that they need to be agile if they want to capture some of the new opportunities that are arising. Therefore, they are building high digital quotient teams, so they are trying to recruit and attract people from other places to really be able to, let's say, build the new models that will enable them to survive for some of them, to become more and more dominant for others. And last but not least, they are also all changing or trying to change their decision-making process, because on this new subject, speed is key, and you need to be able to take faster decision in evolving situation, and they are going through uncertain times, so therefore speed is important in the decision-making process.
Thank you so much, Jean, for those insights. And I get that the metaphoric sentence, data is the diesel that fuels the economy, has never been so true. Thank you again. And we'll move on actually to the other topic that can be servicized, and it's definitely health.